I'm getting real fucking tired of people on the right and the left trying to censor and take away the freedoms of certain individuals. You know, you got people like Mike Cernovich trying to get Sam Cedar banned from Twitter and his job taken off of MSNBC because of a rape joke that he made years ago. That's the right attacking the left to get them deplatformed. And then you got the left trying to attack people like Alex Jones to get them to be deplatformed. But information and ideas are always going to remain prevalent. They're always going to be there. Restricting freedom of speech is just making people away from the public eye, further away from the public eye. If you really care about your movement and about trying to convert people from that side, you should be able to more adequately express your views, make your views more entertaining and good so that people are willing to listen to them instead of listening to someone like Sam Cedar or Alex Jones, depending on which side you're on. And so, I, these people, they call themselves radicals, but they want to censor every single thing that they can find that disagrees with them and somehow damages their movement. Like in Poland, for example, or, Germany or Lithuania, oftentimes those countries ban Nazism and communism. Both ideologies are not allowed. It doesn't matter if, you agree with fascist ideas, but you're just not all the way on board with the Nazism version, or if you agree with communist ideas, but you're not a full-on tanky. It doesn't matter. There's no such thing as moderation within their view, and so they have to censor every single sign of organization within those groups in order to preserve the status quo. And people on the left, they don't realize that if they get Nazis censored and if they get right-wing people censored, the state is just going to come for them next. Like, throughout any time in crisis throughout history, it's always been the left that have been attacked. Like, I know an example is in Germany when Rosa Luxemburg and those people were having their uprising. They got shot by the moderates, the social democrats and the liberals and the conservatives, and then those people, as the country was falling into crisis, ultimately joined sides with the Nazis. And after Nazi Germany was gone, many of the people in the government of West Germany were actually former members of the Nazi Party. And so, who were the people who got the ice pick, so to say, in that instance? It was the people on the left. But oftentimes, those same leftists of today, of the same ideology, are ready for the rightists to be censored and to be gotten rid of. Well, if the state isn't controlled by leftists, or if the state isn't controlled by rightists, who do you think? Who do you think is going to be taken next? You know? And so, I just, you can't, you can't let the state moderate things that should be moderated by people. Like, the state is this huge entity that's overlooking everybody, and you can't let that take part in personal matters. The matter of speech and the matter of public consciousness should be a matter of individuals. It should be a bunch of people deciding which idea is correct by fighting through debates and through information. The state should not come in and restrict a certain form of speech, because then they can restrict any other form of speech that they want. People don't realize that the freedom of speech we currently have is a permission, because the people who own the state are big corporations, and these techno bureaucrats who work within the deep state. So at any point they could take away the freedom of speech that we have. And so why would you let them restrict any element of our freedom of speech? Why would you let them take away these small freedoms? Because as they continue going to take away those freedoms, they're going to take away more. That's how it's always been throughout history. They've always taken more. And so I don't see how people can trust the government to do this on either side. Like on the right, they have more of a chance because the right wing, as long as you're a capitalist, they've historically speaking, they've always been on the same side. But like with the left, like them trying to get the left deplatformed, what makes them think that the liberals aren't going to deplatform the right either? Like, I just it boggles my mind. It boggles my mind that these people who are supposedly radical are not trying to protect freedom of speech. All ideas should be on the table. It should be a personal matter, not a governmental matter upon who chooses what is right and wrong. That should be a matter between individuals. The state should not be regulating who says what. Like that's not that shouldn't be how it is. That should be a matter between individual people. That like it's cowardly to try and say that the government or that order should just sort everything out. That is cowardly, because if you do not have the power to sort those things out yourself, to sort things out in your house between each other, then by letting a big strong man have to do it for you, you're just showing your inability to propagate your movement and to, you know, disavow the ideas that you disagree with. So I don't know, man. I've been getting really angry with this stuff recently, seeing it on both sides, that neither of them want freedom of speech, even though they have to protect freedom of speech to their best abilities in order to foster their own movement. And I know that freedom of speech doesn't really exist. Like, ultimately, it's just a permission that's given to you that can be taken away at any time. And I know that the dominant speech that's, going to be represented in the media is not going to be that of which side is right or wrong. It's going to be which side has the most money. Whereas in a different type of society, it's going to be what the party, what the worker councils say you should say, and stuff like that in the existing systems we've had throughout history. So in terms of like capitalism versus communism, in both instances you have one group restricting the dominant narrative, because that's the group that's in power, and I don't really know how to fix that. Like, I don't think there is an existing system that could fix that besides like anarchism, but anarchism isn't possible. It just leads to a bunch of people dying. So uh, I think arguing about freedom of speech is kind of a useless endeavor, because it's never going to actually be upheld. But it's still, a part of me gets angry. Part of me gets angry when I see these people trying to restrict certain amounts of speech when they're just going to come for more. If they can see that they can restrict some speech, they're going to come for more speech. And that's not the type of society I want to live in.